Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fine, I'll Watch It. I'm Smokin' Fat Jay.
I am Matt Christy.
James Kopp.
And we are here as we are every week to bring you whatever the latest in nerd is. This week we're going to be reviewing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz on all your favorite whatever things that you're watching this on.
Except Instagram, because fuck Instagram.
Except Instagram right now because they said, yeah, we don't like you.
And if
TikTok,
you haven't
it's real
watched
hard to get a stream key. We'll get there, you know what I mean?
and if you haven't watched the first 3 episodes of X-Men '97 on Disney Plus, turn us off and go watch that.
Go watch that
that's
instead because it's better than anything.
That's more
going
important.
That's better than anything going on fucking right now. So yeah.
That is definitely.
But that's
true.
not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about these Ghostbusters in the goddamn cold times.
Ghostbusters 4.
That's
I
right.
think.
Yep.
This is the fourth one.
Fourth canonically. Because
there is 5.
There's
but...
there's 5
There
movies.
is 5. Yep.
But Lady Ghostbusters takes place in an alternate universe.
Sure, whatever.
That's
okay.
That's what was said.
Yep.
All right.
Even though Bill Murray plays the exact same character in both sets of movies.
Well, there could be multiversal Bill Murrays, right?
Bill Murray is
or Peter Venkmans or whatever.
Bill Murray is a universal character in all the movies.
Yeah. Basically. Fucking in this one it looks like he just walked into the ending. Like he straight up was like, "Hey, guess who's check cleared?" and walked on in.
I heard we're filming a Ghostbusters movie again.
It
was nice to see him.
Kind of like all those stories that you hear about him walking into parties and just showing up to places. It was like he showed up on the set that day.
Before we get into this one, can we just talk real quick of what is our history with the Ghostbusters? Because I think we're all of the age where it was like really exciting and important when it first came out. So we're old. We're actually the part of the market that they would want to get to watch these damn films.
Except
for sure
for the previous one, because it came out during the dark times. I have seen every Ghostbusters movie in theaters when they released.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I didn't see all of them in the theater, but Ghostbusters was a big part, especially the cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the cartoon was real big for me too. You know, I even loved the second one, even though it's.
Yeah.
You know.
The second one's got great moments. Like it's still it's an attempt. It just isn't.
And the bad guy's a real bad guy in real life too. So that's interesting. So
the second one we steal from all the time.
Totally.
Mislabel Janisch is Vigo.
That's right.
It's Vigo. It's Vigo.
It's Vigo.
I when I was a kid, I got one of the greatest nights of my life was I got to go to the Crest Drive-In. And the double feature, I went with my family. The double feature was Gremlins and Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I didn't know shit about either of them. And like the first one was like, I think Gremlins. And I was like, that was fucking amazing. And then the second one was Ghostbusters. And I was like, God damn! Like I was just instantly like, I think I'm going to love, either films or anything. That was just one of those nights where it was just like, you could not have impressed me more. And the first one is a comedy, a straight comedy. And we've kind of moved away from that. I know at the time a lot of critics called it a special effects comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like, it's a comedy, but like there's also all these crazy special effects in it. And it's like half comedy, half special effects. So I think that's always been kind of in the roots of it. What were your guys' feelings going into this movie?
I enjoyed the previous one enough to say, okay, this looks neat. Looks like they're going more. Yeah. They're trying to go more towards the scarier aspects of certain things that they've hinted at towards certain times. So no, it looked fun.
Yep.
I think same. The last one gave me enough to be like, okay, yeah, I want to see what they're gonna do. I really hope that they don't, because the thing that with the last one is they leaned real heavily on, the nostalgia thing with, I mean, that was the main plot of the storyline in a lot of ways. But it felt like a passing of the torch, and I was like, okay, I like these characters enough I want to see what they're going to do. and yeah, some interactions with Ernie Hudson and whatever. You know, what I mean, that seems fun. You know, so
Yep.
that's kind of where I was at. Yeah.
I thought the trailer looked interesting, and I was happy we weren't getting like a reboot. I thought we might get like a reboot of Vigo, like that originally. Like I was nervous about that shit, and so it looked good enough. And then the critics ripped it apart. Like when this movie came out, everybody hated it. A really low score on Rotten Tomatoes, and so I went into this movie having a strong love for Ghostbusters, and I love the cartoon too. The real Ghostbusters was kind of a great cartoon, and many of us have joked that that cartoon is the framework for the sequels. Like,
Yeah.
just do the fucking cartoon. And so I guess
Yeah,
we'll now go
and the
into our.
cartoon got into the nerd of the ghosts. Like, you
Yep.
know, it got into, you know, again, for people of our age, it got into the Marvel card
Yeah.
version of the Ghostbusters universe. We're going to categorize all these ghosts and we're going to have, you know, like they were doing some cool shit with that cartoon that a lot of cartoons were just maybe barely dipping their toes into at that time.
I have very fond memories of the cartoon. I went back and rewatched some of them recently, like a couple years ago, I think, right as the pandemic was starting. So going into our overall feelings for this movie after we got done watching it, I was shocked how much I fucking enjoyed this movie. Like, I genuinely enjoyed this movie. This movie is a fucking mess. This movie was like one script rewrite and 2 or 3 character hacking from being perfect, I think. It doesn't quite get there at all. But I was shocked how much I enjoyed this film.
No, I enjoyed it quite a bit too. But yeah, no, there were problems I recognized all throughout the movie, but
Yes.
they weren't enough to make me not enjoy the movie. It's a fun movie. It's in the spirit of the Ghostbusters movies.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did enjoy it myself as well.
I'm gonna be the guy.
Okay, be the guy.
I hated this movie.
All right.
I didn't enjoy not 1 second I saw this movie. We'll get into it, but yeah, I'm that guy today. So
Okay.
yeah.
No, I have a lot of friends that are big. My little brother's like a crazy Ghostbusters nut. And like he was like, there was some good stuff in it, but goddamn, the plot holes and the endless marketing of other products and their own products like killed it for him. And he's not wrong. Like, he is totally not wrong about that. Like, yeah, this movie has got fucking problems. So what do we want to do first?
Well, suck its dick for a while, guys. Go for it.
We're gonna go for the good one stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff
go for
first.
the good first.
Okay.
I gotta say, this felt like the real Ghostbusters episode. This felt like a real Ghostbusters episode brought to life. We had a villain of the week, and honestly, 3 plot points that happen in this are all pulled from the cartoon. Echo 1 gets possessed. Somebody's trying to break out. Spoilers for everything from here on out. Echo 1 gets possessed. A ghost that freezes things, and somebody trying to take over all the ghosts in the containment unit. All of those were plots for the real Ghostbusters episodes, and all of those are 3 of the 8 million subplots in this movie. So yeah.
It's Ghostbusters, the characters, the movie.
Yeah.
No, the dynamic between all the characters worked for me. For the old Ghostbusters, none of them overstayed their welcome or the need for the characters to be in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Bill Murray just kind of showing up, it's like, oh, he's still alive. We'll bring him into the movie. Like, Winston and Ray seemed perfectly fine being there in the movie. Like, logically, they had a reason to be there. A lot of
I would even. This feels like, if the last movie was the Egon movie, this feels like the Ray movie.
Yeah.
Like, if they're gonna start like just doing it, because Ghostbusters Corp, they're gonna try to sell us 50,000 of these, and it's like, this one was the Ray movie, and a lot of the stuff with Ray I really liked.
Chad Garcia is saying that he loved the movie. He said, "How dare you, Jared?" I say, "Wait till the end, and you'll get my reasons."
No, and dude, anybody that hates this, I totally understand it. Like it's a Ghostbusters movie for an ADH kid that bad words make the kid nervous. Like, because it's so sterile of many things. I thought, but then there was stuff I really dug. One of the biggest compliments I can give this movie is the pace. It is an hour and 56 minutes, and I got bored, I think, twice. And that's really good for me. There's something happening every fucking 2 to 3 minutes. Now, sometimes that is boring as shit ghost exposition. So there is that. But half the times it's Ghostbusters being Ghostbusters people. And I don't think and we'll get into the bad stuff, I don't think all the characters were really properly used, but I love some of the team ups. I could watch a movie with Ray and Podcast, and I honestly don't think that they wrote their scenes good enough. Like, that is such a wonderful pairing. And you basically have a younger Ray Stantz with Ray following him around. It's Island of Dr. Monroe. It's even more fun. Got a little mate next to him, and it's just like, yeah, I could have. I thought they were great together. I could have seen, but I would like that developed a little more. And they kept doing that. They kept pairing them up, and I thought it was the right pair, but it wasn't always the right dialogue.
So one of the things I enjoyed was if you know the history of Ghostbusters, you understand why this scene exists and why they put it back in the movie. But the lion outside of the New York Public Library coming to life, because that was supposed to be in the original movie.
Yep.
For those who didn't know, now you do.
God, man. And we'll get in. We will get into the endless references to itself.
Right.
Hey.
This movie wants to fuck the Ghostbusters movie and Ghostbusters, and people. I saw reviews from people I trust and like that were like, "There's no Ghostbuster 2 references in the movie at all." Fuck you. It's like 18. At one point, somebody's just getting hosed in the background with Happy Slime, and I was like, "Dude, quit fucking my face with your references to your own shit."
They straight up call out the cost of the Statue of Liberty doing damage to New York.
Right.
I mean,
and they show the Statue of Liberty walking through New York. Like, it's like fucking, fucking Vigo doesn't show up at any point that we know of.
That's about it, yeah.
Well, he's completely gone. He disappeared from his own painting, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I do say that, that was the one thing that, to me, in this movie was better. Like, the Ray, again, if you're passing the torch, it's good to have that mentor, that old mentor that's still around. And I think they did well with most, again, Bill Murray kind of phoning it in, but both Ray and Winston in this fill those roles very, very well. I'll give that.
You know what was funny is I was thinking about this because I watched 2 full reviews before I watched this. One was Mark Kenmore, I think his name is, or he's a British film reviewer for the BBC too, and I kind of fell in love with him because he's an Exorcist nut and Stanley Kubrick nut, and he's done a lot of reviews for that. And I watched Red Letter Media, the Wisconsin nerd hater factory, and it was very interesting hearing both those people talk about it felt bad to see Dan Aykroyd propped up in it. This is a Dan Aykroyd love letter.
Yeah.
And he even has a scene where he's fighting with Winston, where Winston's like, "Dude, I'm 70. Some days I don't feel like busting ghosts. And sometimes sometimes my wife wants to bust ghosts and I'm just not ready to bust ghosts." And it's like and there's a great moment where Dan Aykroyd was like, I want to die doing this. And then it was like, yeah, get it. Throw his ass out on the sidewalk while he's fighting a lion. It's like, if Dan Aykroyd, the human, is telling us that he wants to just play race dance into the fucking
he is
into the grave.
He is race dance.
He fucking does it.
Race dance is Dan Aykroyd. This race dance back. There's no difference.
What was Dan Aykroyd's show called? Mysteries of the Unknown or something like that?
Oh yeah.
It's
like literally he was doing that in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just the only difference between race dance and Dan Aykroyd is Dan Aykroyd's a little bit more aliens.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the ghost they chose for this movie seems like it's something that Dan Aykroyd researched plenty about, and he's the one that named it and brought it in and everything. So, I enjoy that the library ghost as a plot point is there in the library still, because there never was a scene of them going back and taking care of that one. So she's just there still. There.
The same guy, as they fuck our face with every reference from the past movies. The same guy's there again. Like in the world of the Ghostbusters, we are all left here until another movie is made. And so it's just like. Nothing happened to that guy in fucking 40 years. He is still working the same goddamn job.
I think what they've done in this movie is shown that Winston's character in all 4 of the movies that he has been in is probably the most important character of all of them, because he is the most sane and he is the most rational one. It also
he's the normal one. He's the normal.
It also shows that them not getting Eddie Murphy for the original movie was probably better overall
for everybody, for
the entire franchise.
Yeah,
you think Bill Murray was insufferable after 2? Get Eddie Murphy into that.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, I really like that. He was he wound up becoming the audience point of view character in the first movie. Mm-hmm. And now he is the financier and the person that's kind of moving things forward, which is nice. You know, it's storytelling wise, it works really well. So it's great that it's him and Janine, fucking doing shit. It'd even be better if it was Rick Moranis, but Rick Moranis is too fucking gangster for you guys to get, motherfuckers. So
Ryan Reynolds got him, and that's all that's going to get him.
That's all. That's the only. But you got to be Ryan Reynolds apparently.
Yep.
I also want to give a shout out to Kamel in this, the fucking firebender, because I like Kamel and everything he's in. I liked him in Stuber, even though Stuber's not great. I think he's a very talented comedian, but like everything he's in, he's not great. And I thought he was really funny in this, and I thought he was the only one trying to be in a comedy. Like everybody else in this film is like, I am in a family film that has ghosts in it, and we're going more into that Beetlejuice world, or that sort of cult vein, where it's like there's going to be scary stuff in this, but it's going to be for the whole family. A family horror, if you will. But it's not going to be a straight comedy with special effects the way Ghostbusters first started. But Kamel kind of feels like he's cracking jokes, and his jokes are actually, he made me laugh twice in the film, which is kind of more than anybody else did. I was smiling through this whole film, but a lot of that has to do with my love and nostalgia for these characters, not necessarily the fucking storytelling or acting.
Well, on that point, it kind of also depends on what your thoughts and feelings are towards what Paul Rudd does in any movie, whether he treats it as a comedy, as a family movie, or as this is Paul Rudd, this is what I do type thing.
Dude, in this movie,
there you go.
In this movie, he's just Doctor. Yeah, he's just Doctor Who in this movie, because this motherfucker has seen the movie Ghostbusters in a world where there's Ghostbusters. It's just like, fuck me. Like, he's a god. Because he knows that, like, he pulls up a fucking Ecto high C cooler at one point. Like, why not? Like, I don't know what level.
Well, there was the justification. There was the justification for that in the movie, because in the world of the movie, all the commercials we saw as kids for the Ghostbusters toys existed. It's like that actually happened in that movie.
Right, and the cartoon probably existed too.
Yeah.
No, the cartoon's not, because the cartoon has the name of the real Ghostbusters, and that's been a legal battle for near 100 years now.
I mean, the name was already taken, and they.
No, I know. No, that's what I'm saying. But the name battle's been that way for near 100 years, and if you know the story of why Ghostbusters is one thing and the real Ghostbusters is a completely different thing with the same characters, then there you go.
Do you think they'll multiverse crossover the Ghostbusters?
Yes, I do, because they are working on an animated series now.
All right.
Around this, so.
All right.
Well, we'll see. We'll
What
see.
else do you
And
guys
the last
want?
thing I would like to say that I really liked in this movie, nobody gave a shit about Ghostbusters anymore in this world, which was kind of refreshing. It was one of the best things about Ghostbusters 2 is that our heroes that won everything had failed and are doing kids parties and are hosting a shitty talk show at 3 a.m. in the morning. It was like that was interesting. That was an interesting thing to do. I like that was at the beginning where they're like chasing generic snake ghosts through the fucking city. We see that nobody gives a shit, and actually the Ghostbusters are kind of an annoyance, and that's the truth. That's the real, Fantastic Four dealing with living in reality of being a superhero, the Incredible sort of thing. And so I really like that they kind of touched on that. I would have gone more into it. And I found myself more on the side of Walter Peck half the time in this movie. I was like, yeah, I don't think a child should have a particle accelerator that has a nuclear powered backpack. It's just like, no, I don't think she should. And I don't think she should be hanging outside of a car that's overheating that nobody knows what the fuck's going on with. I was just like, yeah, you guys are bad parents. Crack all the jokes you want. You guys are bad parents. It's yeah.
Oh, mini Stay Puft.
Oh God. Fucking. Did you see the one in the back of the window? Yes. Buy me now on Amazon. It was fucking. It's like. Okay, we sucked its dick enough. Let's get into the bed. And there is bed in this movie. Okay. Starting with that.
Jared, would you like to start?
Yes, I have several things to say. So just piggyback off of this. So first of all, you were talking about, they have all these plot points from the cartoon and stuff like that. It felt like an episode of the cartoon. I felt like in the vein of Batman v Superman, it felt like a very quashed together things that were interesting plot points that they could have based a whole fucking movie off of. Like you said, just follow the plot points of the fucking cartoon. But they are just trying to just throw everything in.
Yep.
And that's the whole movie in a nutshell, really, is it feels like everything in the fucking kitchen sink, but nothing really fleshed out. The ghosts were rather uninteresting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like in something like this, you really need a really good villain. You need a few people that we already know because it's a sequel. You know what I mean? And it's even a sequel to the reboot.
It's a sequel to a sequel to a sequel.
So, you know what I mean? So you don't even need to reestablish the characters.
You give the villain the greatest grouping of powers you've given any villain. This ghost can freeze people, scare people to death if they are frozen. This ghost can control other ghosts as if they are their zombie minions. Mm-hmm. And here's a fun one. Proton energy being shot at it, it can freeze it and tell it to fuck off.
Right. And apparently
this is amazing. This ghost is literally this ghost is stronger than Gozer in those respects. Gozer could not pull this shit out of her ass. And so it's like, this ghost can. And I was like, wow, the third act of this is going to be nuts.
Nope.
No, it isn't. No. It's just going to be like, they did it.
It's going to go straight for them, and that's it. There's no.
Okay, and then I will agree with you that Kumail, one of the funniest things in this movie. Patton Oswalt as well. But not enough.
All these characters were fun. They just didn't do anything with them,
Not enough of any of them. And then fucking Kumail just comes back and he has these fire powers all of a sudden. He's actually gone through most of the movie, right? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Isn't everybody?
He developed
it might be kind of racist that he comes back with fire powers. I'm not sure. I feel like there's something wrong there. Yeah.
It's the greatest movie superpower ever.
Very DeHalsem.
You learn everything off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to show progression on screen, just as long as you talk about it and they come back and they have the thing you talked about.
And again,
I still like this better than the Eternals.
Well, yeah. we're judging this off of Ghostbusters movies,
Uh,
not off of Marvel
Yeah.
movies. So you know,
Fair enough.
the only counter I'll make to your first point about the story being a mess is yes, it is a mess, but unlike Batman v Superman, the story makes sense for everything they mashed together. They somehow they somehow made a story that was cohesive and told a single through line. Was it the most elegant way of doing it? Absolutely not.
No. The other thing is just like you said, the blatant just here's all these marketing things that we're trying to do. It felt very much like a pilot to the new Ghostbusters.
And that's totally what it was.
Franchise.
Yeah, that's totally what it was.
Which the last movie already was.
Yeah.
I felt like you already had it because at the end of that movie, we all said at the beginning of this, hey, we were interested in the characters you developed. We weren't crazy about the nostalgia you leaned on, and here you come just leaning harder.
Yep.
So, anyway.
And they really are trying to have their cake and eat it too, of like, hey, we're going to keep this new group of people, but we're also going to bring back the old ones, and we're going to show some new ones, which that's great if you can make it work, but it's really hard to make that work.
This movie had a whole lot of characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it chose to focus on two of them, and that was not the best idea of the two that they chose.
I guess we should get into one of the major problematic things I have with this is
in the last movie.
No, exactly. They gave her movie to develop her character. You didn't need to then lean so heavily onto her this time around.
No.
Yep. I mean, if she's supposed to be the new star, I don't know, is she supposed to be like the new Ghostbuster? If that's the case, then sure, develop her. I guess we should get into the friendly ghosts. So how does that work in a world where we're ghost bust? Does that mean ghosts have rights? What is this like? Now, introducing the last movie did it, and then this movie did it. When we introduced the friendly ghosts, I don't know how well that works for ghost busting.
Is it going to be a gab? All Ghostbusters are bad?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a camp of that.
I'm sure there's a campaign happening.
I mean, now we're watching X-Men '97. I'm sure Friends of Humanity are going to come in and
absolutely
want all ghosts taken down. Doesn't matter who they are, how good they are. They just all must go.
I got another thing and let's just start. We need to talk about it because everybody else seems to be talking about it. The lesbian aspect of the female lead and the ghost, which I did not pick up on at all in the entire movie.
James. James. She wears very little makeup. She has curly hair and she has glasses. Okay.
There was some long looks.
She's obviously a lesbian. That's all you have to do.
They didn't talk about
cock movie, all right?
They never talked about dick. So obviously lesbian.
Yeah.
Obviously lesbian.
Well,
it was like,
they talked about a man having no dick. So
it could just be two female characters, one living, one dead, that are just talking to each other.
Right? They're having no dick.
Yeah, they're roommates. They're roommates, James, or they're going to be roommates. That's what it is.
God damn it.
They're roommates.
And they like chess.
Two female characters talking to each other does not mean lesbians.
Oh man, Ghost Scissors cut so hard.
Yeah.
They wanted to pass the Bechdel test so hard with those two characters.
Well, and so I'm wondering, is everybody seeing something that I'm not seeing, or was there scenes that were cut out?
It's just subtext. It's not trying to heavily push it. What is it?
I honestly don't think it was there at all. I think it is fanfic that is being written all over right now.
It's like
I didn't.
No, I picked up on that. What that was a possibility of what they were doing.
Well, I think that's weird because she's 13. I don't even think it doesn't even matter.
15 and 16.
13.
But yeah.
Everybody in this movie is 45 and up, man. That girl wasn't 13 in the last one. I know whatever character they're playing, but yeah, she's 28 or whatever.
All right, Dan. Whatever you say.
Yeah, exactly. This is brought to you by Dan Snyder. We told you that we won't stop, and we told you that we won't stop.
Oh my God!
Don't do that when I'm taking a drink. Don't do that when I'm taking.
References. What
He was doing that.
I can't believe
He was doing that pre-show. What were you all paying attention to?
I didn't pick up what you did.
He straight up said, "Did he pre-show?"
Don't.
I'm just saying it's not been a great week for kids.
No. No.
It was pointed out today on the scriptwriter character. I don't know if you watch him on YouTube. How much ghostbusting was done in this movie called Ghostbusters?
Well, they had the drone busting going on.
No,
It was in the trailer, right?
they had the opening, that first bit, and then they fought Garish, whatever his name was, and
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, there's not a
Finn
lot of Ghostbusters.
Finn Wolfhard maybe tried to catch Slimer. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh God, was that painful? Didn't you feel bad for everybody in the scene?
That was Yoda in the prequels. Fucking Slimer.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It was so sad.
It was not good.
It was like seeing Slimer in a porno. You know, it was like you'd been down on his luck for a while.
I need the money. Fine.
It's early 2000s.
I'll slime you for money. I'll slime you for money.
Well,
yeah, it was like I felt bad for the kid too. It was like he gets slimed. He goes, "Yep." And it's just like, God damn! Like I just fucking everybody had to be home by 5 that day, huh?
Oh,
All right.
Dan Snyder wrote that joke too.
Very good.
Dan Snyder wrote that. Dan Snyder production.
It's a snot joke.
Sure.
Let's fucking rate.
You
this
know
thing.
what's so sad? If you go watch the documentary we're talking about how wonderful Nickelodeon is with their staffing.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but Disney too, apparently.
Well, Disney we knew about.
Yeah,
that.
it's like when I was living in LA, I'm not joking. I knew 2 animators that worked with me at Blockbuster who would every now and again work at Nickelodeon, and this is like 2006, 7, 8. And I was talking to Ryan. I was like, "Oh, Nickelodeon, the building's so cool." And he's like, "It's all pedophiles. It's all pedophiles." He's like, "I won't work there." And he was doing animation for the guy who did Rugrats and Monsters and shit. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool, man." And he was like, "No, he's cool. Nickelodeon is a bunch of goddamn pedophile." Like, and this guy was like a stoner, which made it that much funnier. That he was like, "Oh, laid back. I like animation, man. I like this." And then like I would ask him about Nickelodeon to be like, "Listen up, motherfucker. They're coming for you kids." Like it's just like would go dark so fast.
What does that say?
Yeah,
what does that say for the name of the show? Double Dare.
Nick,
That's what killed me. I was watching the documentary, and they were all like, "And we made all that in the Amanda show." Oh my God! Can you imagine being like molested, and the thing that you guys made was like the worst fucking television shows in history?
Oh, here we go. And that's the take from. I need that to be the commercial.
Busted made Dan Snyder feel good.
Jesse, I need you to note the time because that has to be the commercial for that fucking documentary right there. It has to be. Can you imagine getting molested and what you made is all that? James Kopp.
It's like finding out that like 100 people died making John Carter. You know, it's like it's so depressing. It's so depressing.
Why won't Instagram let us be on their platform? Why?
Let's rate this show while everyone's rating our show. Let's rate this fucking movie while everyone's rating our show.
I give
Jesus Christ.
I give this movie 3.5 Dan Snyders.
God damn you guys.
I'm giving this movie 3 P Daddies at a
what
5.
do we got? What do we got?
Well, Jesse, what is the half?
With his tongue stuck to an icicle.
Oh,
all right,
my
wonderful.
Lord.
Yeah, sure.
And you're giving it 3?
3.5. I'm doing
I'm
3.5.
giving it 3.
Okay, well.
What does his tongue suck to on the half?
Just floating. Guys, actually, I'm going to give this a 5. You guys have fucking changed my mind. I'm gonna give this a 5.
We call that the M. Night Shyamalan.
Right.
You know, he did a little plot twist there at the end.
We changed your mind. We're talking about something that had nothing to do with Ghostbusters.
Extra little plot twist that I'll give you guys is that last Saturday, was it Saturday, Friday, or Saturday? I can't remember. Friday night, I went and picked up my kid. We went to the 10:30 showing of this show. And we got into the D-box seat at the Atmos Theater over there at the theater. We got ourselves a little bit of popcorn and everything. And then the movie started, and I was like, all right, Ghostbusters. And then I busted my ass to sleep and slept through this whole fucking movie. So everything I said, I know nothing of what I was talking about through this whole fucking thing.
Look at the logo.
I like the first scene.
Fine, I'll sleep through it.
Fine, I'll sleep through it.
I
Nice,
need
that's
that
our
to be
next
the
show.
T-shirt. I'm buying that T-shirt. Put it on fucking.
Fine, I'll sleep.
That'll be on TeePublic. You guys
That's
can
what
pick
the
it up
cast of
Yeah.
the Dan Schneider show
there you
said.
go.
Fine, I'll
exactly.
sleep through it.
I
So,
slept through it. I drank the Jesus juice. I have no idea what happened. All I know is
Boy, we derailed this time.
hey,
Ghostbusters
quiet on the
movie.
set.
bussin' made me feel good. Is what I think that's the new Nickelodeon logo, right? Dan Snyder, GM.
Ghostbusters.
Anyways, I just I didn't feel right just not coming to the show, so I felt like I just fucking
fair.
faked my way through it.
I want to point out one Easter egg they threw in the movie.
I did watch a bunch of reviews of this show to come up with the bullshit that I.
No,
think
you're
is
fine.
insane.
It's whatever.
I didn't even want to. After I saw reviews, I didn't even want to go see it because I was like, I'm gonna be too upset. Like, I like the Ghostbusters. I like the concepts that are in there, and I like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and I even like the new cast. I like Paul Rudd. I like the fucking the kids. And so I was kind of like, I thought podcast was underused in this movie. I think he's a fun character. He's literally the audience. He's making himself the audience point of view character. He's going to YouTube everything they do. It's relatable for a lot of kids in this upcoming generation, and that's such a fun, cheap way to get away with giving out exposition and stuff like that. He's doing a video, so it's such a fun, smart character, and putting it with Ray is just the best. It's like the smartest. Like them at the end of the last movie was one of the best moments, and in this movie, one of the best moments is just seeing Ray watching Echo 1 go down the street. You know, it was stupid shit like that they would, and then it would be like, wow, that's such a
Sorry.
That's such a nice moment, and then they would follow it up with just Stay Puft Marshmallow Men literally sticking themselves to the back of windows.
Our inappropriate laughter during your positive things. There you
There
go.
you
There you go. There he is.
He's behind us. Oh my god.
Hey,
Oh god.
so I'm gonna pose.
Hey.
I want to pose you guys a couple of questions.
No,
There you
hold on,
go.
real quickly. There's an Easter egg. They put Egon in the movie.
And
No, huh? No, they legit put Egon in the movie.
don't leave us in
When
suspense.
they go to capture Greshka or whatever the fuck the ghost name is, the old Ghostbusters and Janine go downstairs. There are 5 hands that go on the handle.
Oh.
And I think it's Aykroyd who makes the comment, "Thanks," like as an actual line in the movie, and 5 hands pull it down.
Oh.
So he has
All
because another gloved hand shows up after all 4 of them already are on the handle to try to turn the trap on. So
I think it was him.
Dan
It's Dan
Yeah,
Schneider.
Dan
It's Dan
Snyder.
Schneider.
Dan
Yeah.
Snyder
fair
with
enough.
that
Fair
third
enough.
hand.
My
Oh,
guy's
that's
getting
the
bigger.
hand. Oh
They're always
my
getting
God.
closer.
It's like, hey, don't want to be a star? Follow me.
So the weird thing is I turned that documentary on. What's the documentary called again? I just keep
Quiet on set.
Quiet on
Why
Set.
on the set?
I turned it on. Okay, everybody was talking about it. I turned it on,
Yeah.
and I saw this guy, and I'd heard about him. about him on Nickelodeon, and I heard about like the controversy of him getting kicked off not like long ago and shit. But I'd never seen his picture or anything. And yeah, instantly I was like, oh, that's that guy from fucking Head of the Class. Like, that was the first
Thank you.
thing I thought.
Thank you. That's how I know this motherfucker
Yeah.
too. I was like, oh yeah, he's Fatty Fats from Head of the Class is what I called him.
Yes, that's him.
I didn't know he was Touchy Feely from Nickelodeon.
exactly.
Like I knew him as Fatty Fats.
Now he's dual. Now he holds dual places in my mind.
Because
Yep.
So
my favorite thing now is it officially makes Dan Snyder as the worst name for a person in American history.
definitely, yeah.
Because you got this Dan Snyder. No, you got this Dan Snyder, and then you have the former owner of the Washington Redskin football team, Dan Snyder, and
That's
all the
right,
terrible
yeah.
shit that he did. So
that's true.
you know,
Nice.
if you're a kid named Dan Snyder,
Yeah.
your fate's already been determined. You're gonna be a
I
horrible
think
person.
Hitler's still pretty bad, and then P Diddy's really bad because you got to choose that shit. Your mom didn't name you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So then that's worse.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna pose a question to you guys about this movie because I didn't actually see it, but I did watch reviews, and a lot of them were talking about just kind of like those little spin-off things, like you were talking about. Like, what if we had a Dan Aykroyd podcast? Like Dan Aykroyd's like, I'm gonna go across the country and check out all these ghost things, and you got like maybe Podcast Girl and Dan Aykroyd in the next movie, or in maybe a show even. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where they're just doing that shit. You know what I mean? They did show.
Yeah,
I
Ghost
actually
Corp.
was awake
Ghost-
for that part of the movie.
But Ghost Corps was created as a production company back on the female Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
that was when Ghost Corps started as a production company.
But it's also like then,
Which-
like bring them in too. Like who gives a shit at this point? Like try something new. I think those who like this IP, the idea of ghostbusting IP as an IP.
I liked the girl Ghostbuster movie. I don't understand what the fuck. I mean, it was a little. It had some bland shit, but like Kate McKinnon was hilarious in that fucking.
She was.
Everybody was pretty fucking hilarious. I think it was a little contained because of the money behind it as a Ghostbusters thing, and they probably wouldn't let them do stuff. But had they let those people do what they did in Bridesmaids in Ghostbusters, it would have killed. Let Ghostbusters be a rated R fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Really?
There were problems with that movie. Same as
Have
problems
it
with
be a
this
family
movie, so.
thing on a show with these people, and have the girls go hard.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Jesse. I am very uncomfortable. Will you please take that shit off the screen? Thank you.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Well,
Amanda Bynes sitting next to Dan Snyder in a hot
It
tub.
actually looked like James Cope was sitting in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Between James Cope was trying to save Amanda Bynes and putting some space between her and Dan Snyder.
I'm trying to become a star on a TV show. No
James
one will
Cope
remember.
would be like, "Nope, you made the Amanda Bynes show. I'm out."
Fucking I know.
All that my ass.
All that. Good
All
lordy.
that, this is out of here.
But no,
That was the thing, like, in the documentary, they're talking about, like, Pickle Man and stuff like that. Even, like, as a kid, I still don't, to this day, get sliming people.
No,
Like, I don't get the joke there. I don't understand
but we
why that's
weren't
funny
kids.
other than
We
fuck
weren't-
that person.
but
we
that was
weren't kids while this shit was going on, and I never saw that shit. And I can't believe when I saw those things, I was just like, that shit was on the fucking TV. I don't.
the slime.
That wasn't Nickelodeon what I was watching.
The slime thing is yes, it's associated heavily with Nickelodeon, but that's something Nickelodeon co-opted from You Can't Do This on Television, which was a Canadian production that they basically bought the.
I loved You Can't Do This on
No,
Television.
yeah, it was because that wasn't touched by Nickelodeon in terms of production. That was all its own thing in Canada. But
It was too old for Dan Snyder to touch.
it was. But they just co-opted the whole slime thing. So that's all it was a co-opted thing. So I don't necessarily attribute one way or the other. Yes, you think Nickelodeon, you think slime, but that wasn't them.
But
And then if you said water,
you got water thrown at your
water
face.
fell on you.
But again, that's all. Oh God.
Oh, is that better?
You
Yeah.
put P. Diddy,
nice, yeah.
put him in the hot
You
tub.
gotta do the fucking dance.
Yeah, I know.
Now play the Eddie Murphy as Rick James talking about, or not Rick James, Rick Brown talk about getting in the hot tub.
No. It is Rick James. All right, it's James Brown.
James Brown, yeah.
James Brown hot tub party. Yeah, this is getting bad. We're too drunk. Let's get the fuck out of here. What are we doing next week?
We are talking about episodes 3 and 4 of X-Men 97.
Right.
With episode 3 probably being one of the greatest episodes of X-Men anything.
Pretty good. And redeemed.
I actually like 2 better than 3, but 3 was amazing. Like, they haven't made a bad episode yet, you know?
And what they're co-opting and cutting down, they're doing at the perfect ratio for the comic story to here's the points that you need. We're going to put them on the screen.
They redeemed the comic book story.
Yeah.
What's after that?
After that is James Kopp's choice, which we haven't told him about yet. James Kopp, you have 2 weeks to come up with the movie you want us to watch live.
So try to come up with something that you think that we have both not seen, or at least one of us has not seen.
I know. I am going to go see Late Night with the Devil.
Well, it's something, something that we can actually watch.
I know it's something we actually can stream, but I'm going to go see that, I think, this next week, because I do want to see that.
See that
the people that made it are really big horror fans, so it's always nice when like horror geeks get to make something, and it's like it's actually making money, and it's from Shudder, who's kind of like Shudder. We wish we were Peacock, so like the streaming companies, and so it's nice that Shudder's like making some money.
The DC Universe app.
Yeah,
I saw that apparently there is an MGM Plus station. I didn't realize MGM did its own streaming, but apparently it exists.
Yep, it's just outside Vegas. It only costs like a nickel. You can go to it.
Weekdays it's cheaper.
And I would like so after that we officially are doing, or we talk about Fallout for however many episodes we decide to talk about. But I would also like to remind you, gentlemen, that April is upon us, which means part 2 of Rebel Moon will be out in just a couple weeks.
I can't wait.
Already?
A couple weeks. So we might have to have a special episode of that where we have to stream it.
Yeah.
So we might have to double up 1 week. Okay, well, that's what we got going on next week. We'll be talking about episodes 3 and 4 of X-Men 97. And by next week, we'll have the answer to what James Kopp is going to make us watch.
We promise next week there'll be far fewer Dan Snyder jokes.
Maybe.
Next
we
week.
don't know what the news is going to be, so no, we don't know.
Next week.
We don't know that.
Because we're talking about, we can ignore him for X-Men 97. But when we come back the following week with James Movie Fic, oh, man.
If he commits suicide in Epstein's cell, we're making jokes the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's fair.
Definitely. There he is.
There
he is. He's right over your shoulder.
I don't know. He looks innocent.
He's going to give you a massage, James.
Exactly.
I could trust that smile.
He seems like a good guy.
He does. He's got very nice teeth.
Yeah.
Trusting, beady little eyes.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, until next week, I'm Smokin' Phat J.
I am Matt Christy.
James Kopp.
We'll see you guys. Peace.